Hi guys, and welcome back to A Word from God with Pam. I just wanted to start by actually just saying thank you to everyone who's been watching my video, sharing them, liking them, and just sharing them with whoever they feel like they wanted to share it with. Thank you so much for your support. It's amazing. And also thank you to those who've messaged privately or who've asked for different types of videos. We will definitely be doing them very, very soon. But as for today's video, I'm super excited. So we're going to be talking about marriage. So marriage. And I've got a special couple that are going to be speaking with us today. So before we go into the video, we're just going to have a little introduction where they're going to tell us a bit about how long they've been married and things like that. So yeah, please watch. Okay, so how long have you guys been married for?
Well, I can say it's about 7-8 months now.
Yeah,
7-8 months now.
And how long were you together before you got married?
About 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years or a year and a bit.
Yeah, it's just that time flies, so it's hard to remember, basically.
Okay, are you guys in love?
Of course.
Come on. Man, it wouldn't happen if I wasn't in love, so yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So what do you guys love about each other?
Yeah, you go first.
What I love about her is that she's just funny. Like, I don't have to really do much to actually be happy. She's just a happy person herself. So for me to just be around a person who's already bubbly, it makes it easy for me as a man because I don't have to impress or do anything because she's already a happy person. So yeah.
Oh, and Sarah?
My favorite thing about Mark is that he is... There's a lot of things that I like. My favorite thing, I guess he's just a very... I want to say like welcoming.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to put it into words because it's a whole aspect of his personality where he's always ready to like receive whatever you got. Like if you're happy, he's happy with you. If you are upset, he's there with you. If you need encouragement, he's there to encourage you. So he has that personality who's just always ready to kind of
Man,
like
I'm
give.
Down to earth.
He's
let's
very, very
just
generous.
say that. Yeah. Open, down to earth. I make friends very, very easily. So yeah,
way too easily.
That's it, really. I'm just an open person. I can't really, say no to people. I'm just an open, friendly person. So
okay, and what are your names?
Names as in?
What's your name?
My own name,
Because he has several names, you see.
Because I have several names as well. Yeah.
So what are one of your names that we can identify you by?
That you can identify me as Mark.
Okay, and
I'm Sarah.
Okay, brilliant. So now we're going to go into the topic. Right, okay, so we're now going to go into the topic of marriage, but we're just going to kind of go back a little bit. Like, obviously, you guys are married now. You've been married for what, 8 years? 8 years? 8 months?
8 months.
8 months,
We
okay,
just got married, man.
Literally, so you're still like in the honeymoon. Would they still be classed as honeymoon phase?
I don't know,
Even I'm not sure because...
So you're just coming out of the honeymoon phase?
Yeah,
okay, let's put it that way. So you've been married for 8 months. You said you were dating for like a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
So let's go back into the dating. No, in fact, let's go back to how you met.
Okay.
How did you guys meet? And do you think it was important how you meet?
Okay.
Well, the best person to talk about is her. So.
All right. So how did we meet? My side of the story is that I have a friend of mine who happens to have a friend who is the girlfriend of my husband's best friend.
Okay.
And my friend called me and she was like, "Oh, have you been?" And I felt a bit bad because we've not talked in a while.
Yeah.
So because of that, I knew whatever she was gonna ask me, I'm gonna say yes. So she was like, "Oh, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm fine, thank you." She was like, "Oh, sister, I have a favor to ask you, like, or something to ask you." And I was like, "Okay, what is it?" He was like, "Have you been on dates or any times? Any
like
time?"
Recently?
Yeah, recently. And I was like, "No." She was like, "Oh, would you ever go on a blind date?" And I was at that time where I was like a bit worried about marriage and the fact that I've been a while since I don't speak to her. So I was like, you know what, let me just say yes. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
And then I said yes. And she was like, oh, okay, no worries. It's going to be this Saturday. And yeah, that was that. They set the date up for us. And I went on the date not knowing who it was on the other side. And now I'm married.
What did you guys think of each other when you saw each other? Or like, who was there first? Or did you meet like outside the restaurant?
No. Okay, so the way it was is that I was running late. They were also running late. Because it was more like a group date type of thing.
Okay, yeah.
So, because I was like, I'm not gonna go on a date with a stranger, but let's make it a group date. So it was him, his best friend,
scared,
the girlfriend. Yes, I was.
She didn't know it was the husband coming.
I didn't want to die. Okay, health and safety.
Yeah.
So basically, they were outside on the car. And I was meant to make my way out, and I was taking too long because the shoes were not going in. The jacket I was just all over the place. Yes, first impressions.
Yeah.
And I think he got impatient, and he was like, you know what? Let me actually get out of the car and meet her at the door. But the place that I lived, it was a bit complicated for you to find your way.
Yeah.
Because it was like a bit of like a square, so there was different houses. So basically, I was going out of my house while he was coming into the little square, and then we kind of like met in the middle there.
Yeah.
So,
What was your first impressions? Did you get any tingles, anything like that?
When I saw my wife, I was like, man, she's good.
I love that.
But man, I didn't want to show it that. That's the thing about it. As a man, you don't want to just fall straight.
Yeah,
I didn't want to show her that, but I looked at her, I was like, damn, she's good. But let me just take it easy until we go there to the day, and then I'll see.
in conclusion, I was worth the wait. See?
Yeah, you see, I love that. So do you think, because obviously we're talking about Christian dating, so do you think it's really important how you meet? Like, I've heard people say like how you meet is the foundation of what else happens after that. So do you guys think it was important that you met that way, or do you feel like you could just meet anyhow?
Personally, I don't think for me, because that was a setup day. I would have never in my life thought or believed that I would marry somebody through a setup date.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, I've never heard of it. My parents have never done it. Culture-wise, we've never done it. So that was something very new. So it was about, and it was almost like, okay,
experiment.
It's an experiment that we've never had. But look at where God took us from a day that was set to now being married. Some people may look at that as in it's not formal, it's not cultural, but it is a set day that got us where we are today. So sometimes people might say it as, nah, you're not supposed to do that, or maybe it's not in the Bible or something like that. But for some people, it could turn into a blessing.
Yeah, because blessings don't always come the conventional way.
Exactly.
And then God can do it anyway. For us, it was a blind date. For you, could be just church on your way out. One day, you are driving, your tire pops, and then the person that happens to help you. Or, it could be anything. It can literally be anything. Just, it doesn't matter really. You can be enemies, and then all of a sudden you start talking, and actually you realize that you like the person.
Yeah, I love that. My next question is now, like, when you guys were dating, what values did you hold on to that are biblical or like Christian that helped you through the whole dating phase? So if, like, say someone's watching and they're like, I want to date, but I want to do it in a way that pleases God, what would you advise? Like, what did you guys set in place so that you were living like a biblical life whilst you're dating?
Biblical couple. Well, first of all, we said to, like, she said that, okay, and I'm not here to play games. I'm not here to play games. I'm looking for somebody serious. And if I'm going to do this, I have to make sure that you're the right one for me. Now, because we both serve God, we both know God, we said we're going to pray about it. So the first thing we said is we put this into prayer.
Okay. Yeah. What did that look like? Did you pray together, separately?
I think, okay. So the way it came about was... So this is the way that it came about was... the first week, it was more of, the typical, you pick up the phone, you start asking questions, mainly me. So if I have to be, the first advice that I will give is ask the real questions.
Yeah.
Not what's your favorite color, but I was asking him, okay, what do you think about submission? What kind of husband are you going to be? What are you going to do with your life? Like those type of questions. What kind of father are you going to be? I was asking him the real questions. Tell me about your ex. Who did you break up? Whose fault was it? Like those real questions. And then after a week, I was trying to find something to not like.
Oh my Lord.
Why?
Because
just to be safe, basically.
because
as women, I think.
because I was like, we're just talking normal. There's nothing wrong here. Like there's nothing that
It's a bit suspicious.
it's still good. It's still good. So I was like, no, I don't like it. Let me start praying. So I was like, sending him fire in the name of Jesus. If you're
Can
not
you
for
imagine?
me, if you're not
She's
for
praying,
me,
sending fire.
fire of the Lord will catch. I was relentless because I was like, I don't want to get my heart broken.
Yeah.
And then I remember one day that I felt like, okay, God, we're talking about real life and it's good. But what about you? Like, where are you? I don't see him. Like, I don't see the side of him that, has to do with you. So I prayed that, let's say in the morning or in the afternoon after work. And that night, as we were talking, we were about to like hang up the phone. I heard the Holy Spirit ask him to pray. Like, ask him to pray for you. I was like, no, that's lame. Like, that's a bit
it's
awkward. Like,
cheesy.
But the Holy Spirit was like, just ask him. So I did. And he was like, okay. Like, he just went with it. And then from that day on, it was just our routine. Like, I didn't have to ask anymore.
You just prayed. So you prayed together every time you were about to end the phone call.
Basically, every night. And she didn't know that the most time that she was praying, sending fire, God was making it better for us. The more she's sending fire, Lord, show me, is it the right one?
Yeah.
If it's not, burn him and everything. She didn't understand that. Every time she did that, every time she
That's
did
literally
that,
what I prayed.
that's when she was getting basically me to do the best thing. She was getting the best out of me by sending fire to me.
So it got you agitated a bit. Like you started to pray
it's
more.
It's almost like I would tell something to God, like, okay, God, but he doesn't talk about the Bible. And then the next day he will mention something about the Bible. Or I'll be like, yeah, God, but I don't know, something silly. And then he will just do it or mention it, or I will see that on him. So I was just like,
I
God,
just didn't know. Maybe God was talking to me. Hey, she's trying to test you there, so make sure you do that.
God was on your side.
And I think that's one thing that I will advise to any woman, that sometimes the person that you're supposed to marry will not look the way that you think it looks, because I remember talking to my friends before I met him, and I used to say to them, like, oh, my ideal man is going to be some American guy, like a pastor, a preacher, a prophet. He's going to come into town, and because I'm an interpreter, I'm going to be interpreting, looking all cute. And then he's going to hear my accent. He's going to be, that's my wife. That was my vision, right? So when it came now to marriage, I was looking for somebody who was already in ministry in a way that I was. But God had different plans. And God kind of taught me that it might not look the way you think it is, but the heart, I'm there. I'm with the person. So
and that's what matters, isn't it? Like that the person that you're with, God validates your marriage, your union.
Yes.
That's what I had to happen.
Literally, that's amazing. So like, let's talk about the whole process of like you guys getting married. How did you know that you were the one for each other?
And I tell you what, the one thing that she actually did that showed me that she is serious. Within, I think it was 4 months, she spoke to her dad about me.
Ooh.
And she asked her dad, who lives in France, to come and meet me.
How did you feel?
For me, I was so comfortable with the whole process. I just don't know how. I was just so comfortable. Called dad, told dad about me, and then they planned it basically. Dad came here. And we went out, right?
Yeah, we did went out.
We went out.
What made you do that though, like Sarah? What made you just think, right, he's gonna meet my dad?
I think is the fact that, so I'm a very open person with my family, because obviously I don't live with them, and African parents, how they are, they worry sometimes. So I try to make sure that I tell them everything that's going on in my life, whether they like it or not. That's another issue, but at least they should hear from me.
Can we talk about that before we move on?
Okay.
because this video is for people watching.
Yes.
The importance of transparency to your parents.
Yes.
Especially in
Oh,
marriage.
you have to be on the
Or
same page.
someone, just someone you trust that you can, because you can end up marrying an absolute murderer or someone crazy, and everyone else knew they were, but you didn't because you were not transparent. Like what would you say to young people who are dating these days who feel like, no, I don't want my mom to know, I don't want anybody to know I'm dating this person, I'm keeping it secret?
I think you have to build a relationship with your parents first to get to a place where you can talk about things like this.
Yeah.
And I also think you have to, if you're ready to marry, it means that you're ready to start an adult life where you are in charge of your own decisions and ready to face the consequences. That means that whatever I'm gonna do, if it goes wrong, I'm the one who's going to face it. Now, when it comes to speaking to your parents, you speak to them from that standpoint of view that, Mom, this is my decision. I'm going to face the consequences. And I will take your advice and I respect you as a mom. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I'm going to do and just pray for me and I will make you proud. So you have to have that. Now, once you have that, then it's just about, just tell them like they want the best for you. I think that's also very important to understand that your parents, whoever is around you that plays that maternal or paternal role, they want the best for you. So whatever advice they're going to give you, even if you don't agree, they're trying to help you. So just see it as
Pay
that.
attention to it.
Just see it as that. I think that's what I have to say. Obviously,
You've actually said everything now. You've actually said it. With me, it's because I had two best friends as well.
Okay.
And for them as well to actually be there from the start as well with the date, they could see things that I couldn't see. But when we talk about it, they will come and tell me, okay, Mark, for me, I can see this. I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't see this myself. But it doesn't mean that she's a bad woman. It just means that you have to go with it.
Yeah, so
this way, that
they
way.
were helping you sort of to navigate around the whole
around the whole thing.
Yeah.
And when you trust your friends, it also makes you feel more comfortable and confident when it comes to decisions. But the thing is now is it can't just be any type of friends.
Exactly.
That's why I need to tell you guys. It needs to be a God-fearing person. That's the one. And then you have to know that you've grown together. It's not just a friend that you meet yesterday and you feel like, that's my friend. No. Somebody who you can actually look and say, that's my sister.
We've gone through things.
That's
we've
my
lived
brother.
through life.
Yeah.
Because then you will know that, okay, they're not just there for something.
Yeah,
they're there because they want you to go forward as well. So
exactly. And also some friends these days literally don't want your happiness.
That's it. They can be against you as well.
Or they're trying to live through you.
Yeah. Oh, they want your man. Mr. See your girl.
Very dangerous.
Literally. But like, we're going to quickly wrap it up. Like, I mean, I love having you guys here. It's a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
But because the aim of this video, I think, is to just show that marriage is still beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still powerful and it's godly. God created the institution of marriage and the whole idea of marriage. And marriages there are still healthy marriages. I know there are a lot that we hear about that are broken, but that's because we only hear about the bad ones.
Yes.
But there are healthy ones. And I wanted you guys to come to just speak about healthy marriages. So like, since you've been married now 8 months, what are the beautiful things you've discovered about being married? Like, why should someone get married if they're thinking about it? Obviously to the right person, but like, what's the beauty of marriage?
Let me tell them.
Nah, go on.
Go on, babe. Go.
Man, I had a vision, right?
Right.
Man, I had a vision that, I wanted to have a business, my own business.
Yeah.
And I've always said this to my wife is, I needed a woman, not just because I wanted to get married, but with a vision that I have. Not just to have a business, but to serve God with the talent that He's placed in me.
Yeah.
Somebody who's behind me, pushing me forward. I've always said that. I need a best friend, but somebody who can be like, whenever I'm sort of doubting, they can be behind me and say, no, you're not going to make a step backwards. I need to be there. You need to move forward. Yeah. And that person can only do this if they themselves pray. So they go and consult God. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, God told me this. You're not going to take a step backward. Move forward. Yeah. And when you have that kind of support from your wife where you have a decision to make, she takes it as her own. And then she goes and prays about it and she comes back to you and says, look, I feel like God told me to do this, we should do this. And when you apply it and you see things work, you're like, hold on a second. I have a backbone here.
Yeah.
I really have a backbone here. And then the more you do with your wife, and then you realize that she's helping you with the little that still makes a difference.
Yeah.
That's when you realize that I can't leave her. I need her. I need her.
You heard that, right? Yeah, you heard it.
To achieve certain things, it is true that God will not let you do certain things yourself. You will always have to have
a
them.
man needs a helper.
A man always needs help from the wife. So for those who are out there, I'm telling you, our marriage is a blessing.
Yeah.
You will achieve much more and things quicker if you are married than not be married. I'll tell you that.
So that's from the male perspective, because obviously the man is the head of the house, but he carries a mission, a vision. So you've just explained that. So now, Sarah, what's the beauty of marriage? And I want you to specifically talk about submission.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because with what Mark's just said, he's talked about God gave you a mission, right? And submission is basically being under a mission. And he's explained that you are literally behind him, under the mission. You understand what he's trying to achieve and you're helping him. So what's the beauty of marriage, do you think, as a woman who is being submissive?
Okay, what is the beauty of marriage? I think is, as a woman, you have so many talents. Like we women, we anything we put our minds to do, we can do it.
That's true.
And sometimes you have so many things that you can do, you don't even know which one to go for. And for me, what happened to me is that when my husband came, it's like all of this knowledge that I have, just picking it up here and there, because as a woman, you kind of like, we're very resourceful.
Yeah.
Now I had a place to put it and fully like just let it out and just be like,
Use it basically.
yeah, literally. So, and I think is number one is because I saw his vision, and I know that God kind of like showed me what this man is going to be. That is almost like the passion to actually see come to pass is double than if it was my own thing. Because when it's your own, you're like, tomorrow.
Yeah.
You'll find excuses when it's somebody else and you can see it like that. You will just do whatever it takes, and you will push yourself and him to make sure that he gets there. I think that's beautiful. And the other thing as well that I would say about submission is that submission comes from a place of safety. What do I mean by that? It's like submission to what I've learned from being with my husband is that I'm able to submit. I'm able to just let him take over certain things and certain decisions because I know he has his best interests for me. So it's like, for example, you know how God says, every Sunday is my day now, and you do it. Why? Because you know that in everything that God tells me, he tells me because he wants the best for me. And he knows that I need to hear from him, and I need time to just be in church. That's why you trust him. So when he tells you pray and fast and don't lie, and you do it because he knows he loves me. He's not going to tell me something to hurt me. And with marriage, it's the same thing. He might tell me some things that I might not particularly like or I don't want to do, but I know that ultimately with everything that he does, he's doing it for me, to create or to provide for me, to create a beautiful home for me. The business, when he's rich, who do you think is going to be buying all Louis Vuitton and Gucci? Who's going to be driving, not even driving the car, sitting right next to him in the car? It's me. So it's on my best interest, to make sure that we work together to achieve this. And sometimes that might be that I put my will. I know it's a bit controversial, but I can put my will down to make sure that we go forward, and the end result is a beautiful thing, and God honors it. My God, God honors it. Like there's sometimes that he will tell me, don't go, and I'll be like, no, I'm gonna go. Let me do it. Something will happen. Whatever I was planning to go, I will not get there. God honors marriage. Like when you go out of your house and your husband is in agreement with you, he's blessed you to go where you go, there is a different anointing and grace that works in your life.
Wow.
So honestly, it's a beautiful thing. Just make sure you're married and find the right person.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you guys for sharing your tips and your story. Yeah, but like, I just want to emphasize before we finish, guys, marriage is still beautiful and it's God-given. It's a gift, you know, from God, and it's beautiful, as you can see. Marriage is powerful. In marriage, so many wonderful things can be created. Healthy homes, healthy children that go out into the society, and they are the ones that become the doctors, the lawyers, that are effective in their job because they come from a healthy home, which is the marriage as well. So yeah, like, don't give up on the idea of marriage. Even if you've seen stuff, you've experienced stuff, pray to God. He can give you a marriage that is healthy. But again, it just comes back down to him. But yeah, thank you for tuning into today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember that God is love. Thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.